This is Andy Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Otto Wallin over Zoom. Otto, it's good to see you. How's life treating you?
Very good, thanks. Doing very well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I know you've had a little holiday after a brief run out recently. Just kind of reflect on that importance of getting back in there, getting a win under your belt, and although it was less than a round, what do you make of that performance and that fight?
It was good. I think that it was really important for me to get back out there, get a win, and nice to get a knockout, of course. The fight didn't last very long, but I think it's not just that, it's just everything around the fight, just preparing for it and getting back into the ring that's important. So it was good for me, and now I'm back. So hopefully can set something bigger up.
Obviously, you had a busy 2023, which ended with that Anthony Joshua fight, and you went on to enjoy some time away. How important was that kind of time off from the AJ fight up until your most recent outing?
I think it was very important that that was a tough loss for me, and I needed some time just think about things and have a little break from training. But after a few weeks, I had my hunger back and wanted to go back at it. So I did. I was training very hard since late January, I think, last year or this year. And yeah, I was just putting in work, and I feel like I'm getting better, and I'm trying to get better. So that's all I can do, really.
Was that something in yourself after that fight with AJ? You wanted to kind of you know, make your own mind up if that hunger was still there?
Yeah, I mean, I was like I said, it was a tough loss. I thought I was gonna win the fight, to be honest, and felt confident, but didn't go my way. But so after that, it was a little bit tough, but I got a lot of support from fans and people, and also, gotta remember that if you fight the best, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So uh, I lost to Fury and Joshua, and I don't think there's much shame in that. I can recover, come back better, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Trying to do that this kind of little rebuilding phase, if you like, in your career. You had this recent run out, this recent victory under your belt. So where to next? Because there's obviously the heavyweight division. We're seeing a lot of great fights being made at the minute, especially by those out in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna get next, but I'm ready for pretty much anyone. There's so many fights, so many fighters out there that I can fight. So I'm open to it all. And they took really good care of us in Saudi Arabia last time. So I'm hoping I can go back there. I think they're doing a great job for boxing.
Do you feel like obviously now you've got that one win back under your belt, you want to go straight back in with one of those other top names in the division, or is it still maybe one or two more? How do you see things progressing now?
I honestly feel like I'm ready to go back in there with the top guys. I lost to Joshua, yes, but I still think that I'm one of the best, and I'm ready to show that again.
Rob, some guys I'm gonna throw at you. Some guys who recently fought as well. Start off with Martin Bakole, who produced a very good display against Jared Anderson. Firstly, on that fight, what did you make of Bakole's victory against Anderson?
It was a good victory. Unfortunately, I was on my vacation and I tried to catch the fight. I got to see Crawford. We had a bar. Me and some friends over there, but I missed the heavyweight fights. I missed Jared Anderson and Bakole and Ruiz and Miller. But I tried to see the highlights. Uh, but I mean, it was a very good win for Bakole. I haven't watched it, of course, but Jared Anderson seemed like he was a good prospect, and he probably still is. And I think he can come back. A loss doesn't have to destroy you really. Can if you do it right, then he can come back, and he's only 24 years old, so things are not over for him.
On the front with kind of both men, let's just start off with Bakole because he won. Let's say that fight presented itself. He's had some good wins under his belt. He's fought seemingly very highly of by those out in Saudi Arabia. Would that be a fight of interest to you?
For sure, for sure. That's the fight I would like.
Stylistically, how would you anticipate it matching up? And from anything you've seen of him, even though you missed this most recent fight with Jared Anderson, do you see kind of holes there which you feel like you could exploit?
There's always holes with anyone. There's holes with me. There's holes with other people. So I think with him that he's a big, strong guy. But I didn't watch the last fight, of course. But he seems like not the fastest guy. He's big, of course, and so I think there's definitely some things that will be to my advantage in that fight. But gotta be well prepared and be ready to handle business.
Even though he lost that fight, what about potential about Jared Anderson? Because obviously he's going to have to go away and have a potential rebuilding job. And we've seen previously with kind of southpaws, he hasn't necessarily had the most easiest of nights when you think about that Charles Martin fight. Potential interest there, say if Top Rank were to reach out and put something on the table, or do you feel like you'd rather face the winners or somebody who's maybe a bit higher up in the rankings?
Well, it doesn't really matter so much for me right now. I just had a loss, so just trying to come back, and it all depends on the offers that I'm getting. I don't care so much. I just try to take things step by step now and rebuild and get back to the top. So, it's always good to fight the winners, but at this point, I can fight really anyone, I think.
You mentioned earlier on, Otto, obviously it's not gone over the heads of anybody who watches this interview. The two defeats on your record were to AJ and Fury, who for many are two of the best heavyweights in the world. Do you feel like that's somewhat, obviously you'd rather not have those defeats, but it stands you in good stead because other heavyweights will look at it and think, well, they want to better what those two produced against you. So there's somewhat of like a target or a goal on the back of fighting yourself.
Right, I think so, and that's why I'm pretty confident that I'm gonna get some good offers coming my way because of that. So that's why I'm just training, staying ready. So when I get the offer, that I'm gonna be 100% ready and upset somebody.
Just going back beyond and before Bakole and Anderson as well, we saw Derek Chisora defeat Joyce. Did you manage to catch that fight at all?
I started watching it, but honestly, after the third round, I fell asleep. So I was asleep for a few rounds. Then I woke up around the ninth round. So I saw when Chisora knocked him down, but it was a slugfest. It wasn't very technical to me, and it wasn't very good quality, but it was an entertaining fight, and yeah, it was good for the fans, I think.
Let's say if an opportunity presented itself there, would Derek Chisora be of any interest at all now he's got that victory against Joyce?
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to it. I think it's a perfect fight for me, to be honest, and I don't think that I'm gonna get that opportunity. I don't think that he wants it.
What makes you say that?
Well, I mean, if he's smart enough, he wouldn't fight me. But I would love to fight him. I honestly, I can't stand him really, so I would love to fight him.
Why can't you stand him? Has something happened there which
He's a character. He's a character. I feel like sometimes he can be very disrespectful, and he's been that to me also when we were over in Saudi Arabia, backstage a little bit. You remember when at the press conference he was yelling at Joseph Parker, so kind of did similar stuff to me, and I didn't appreciate that.
Okay, I've got you. Yeah, that wasn't something which kind of I was aware of, so you never know if something might materialize. I imagine that would be quite a fun build up then.
Honestly, I don't even want to be around him, so that would be hard for me to build up.
That seems a bit more personal than what I was anticipating, Otto.
Yeah, but it's all good. It's business. It's boxing, so you just gotta take everything with a grain of salt.
Otto, obviously just moving kind of away from all things Chisora and Joyce and just kind of looking at when you'd like to return. Let's say, those season cards, we've got October and December planned. Obviously, you've got September also, but there's no space left on that Joshua Dubois card. So when would you like to be out next?
I think October would be perfect for me. October, or I know that's when the season starts, and hopefully they're gonna add more shows. So from October on, I'm ready and willing to fight. So hopefully I get something there.
That October show's headlined by Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. Do you have an opinion on that fight?
It's hard to say. I think it's a 50-50 fight. It's a very good fight. But one thing that's gonna benefit Bivol, I think, is that Beterbiev just got injured again. No, he's had some injuries in his career. He's not the youngest, but he's very dangerous, powerful, and technical. And Bivol also is a very good fighter. So I think that's going to be a great fight, and a lot of people want to see that.
Just on the note of fights on the horizon, we've got Zhang Parker 2, which is being mentioned. I've seen Frank Warren's comments that Zhang will look to invoke his rematch clause from previous. What would you make if we saw a return fight? Do you expect it to be anything similar to the first time around?
I didn't know that they were working on that, but I'm trying to think of the first fight. And yeah, that was that was a good fight. I think Parker was down 2 times, right? Uh, yeah, if Zhang can get a little bit better cardio, maybe be a little bit lighter, I think that would be good for him if he fights Parker again. And I mean, that was a close fight, so it could go either way.
And then, of course, you have that Anthony Joshua Daniel Dubois fight, September 21st. A lot of people expecting fireworks from relatively early in that fight. Do you expect to see the same? Do you expect to see the hands let go?
Yeah, yeah, I expect fireworks from relatively early also. I think it's a good fight. It's a good fight, and I've been saying that Dubois is a good fighter, powerful guy. But if he gets hit as easy as he was getting hit with Hrgovic, then I think Joshua takes him out pretty early. But if he can tighten up his defense a little bit and hit Joshua with a few good shots, then break his momentum a little bit, then I think that it could turn into a good fight. But we'll see. Joshua, I know from experience that he's very sharp, so we'll see. It's going to be an interesting fight, but to me, Joshua is the favorite, and also I think that he wins by knockout.
Both men have obviously had kind of his upturn in fortunes recently, and AJ with that performance against Belfam and Francis Ngannou. Is it a surprise to you when you look back at kind of your past sparring experiences of AJ, how much he seems to have developed, and certainly from your experience in the ring and his performance against Ngannou, this kind of new level of confidence that he seems to have about himself now? Is it a surprise to see him?
I don't know if I'm surprised. I always knew that he was good and a serious guy that always tried to get better, probably a perfectionist. So he seems like he's made a good move to train with Ben Davison, and that is working out really good for him. Yeah, I think that he's always been a good fighter, and sometimes he gets a lot of criticism that I think is unjust. I think that he deserves more respect than what he's getting. I think he's getting it from some people, but for some people he doesn't. And he is a very good fighter, and he's a 2-time world champion. So he deserves respect for sure.
Otto, I recall the last time we had a show at Wembley Stadium, which was Fury White. You travelled over for it. Do you expect to make the journey over for that one for Joshua Dubois?
I haven't thought about it, but maybe I will. Why not? Maybe I come over. We get some of that
Lebanese food.
Lebanese food, yeah.
That was a beautiful meal.
Yeah.
And then just a final one, Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury 2 rematch at the back end of the year. Repeat or revenge, in your opinion, Otto?
It's hard to say. I think the first fight was a great fight, very close fight. So I think it can go either way. I think that it's going to be interesting to see which one of them has learned from the previous fight, and Fury's a smart guy, he's a good fighter, he can come back and win, and same with Usyk, that he's very good, obviously won the first fight, so he can do it again. But I think it's really hard to say.
Otto, I'm leaving now to obviously enjoy the rest of your day. It's a pleasure to catch up with you as always. I look forward to hopefully an announcement soon, and thank you for speaking to me in Boxing News.
Of course, thank you for having me.